Okay, I had to go live because I couldn't help it. We have to talk about Prince Harry's older woman, the much older, more experienced woman, Sasha Walpole. Which, by the way, I don't know what you thought, but I will tell you what I thought. I was convinced that Prince Harry's older woman was a much older woman, as in some people were saying it could have been Elizabeth Hurley. Other people were saying it could have been a 44-year-old reality TV star. All of this speculation about Harry, welcome. I just had to talk to somebody about the royalty. So this is very spontaneous because I have a short window of time. But let's talk about Prince Harry's romp behind the pub when he was 16, 8, maybe 17. Can we talk about this? Because can you imagine being like 19 years old? This is how Sasha was. I think it was her 19th birthday. She's having a party. She has some friends over. She's been at Club H, at High Grove in the basement, hanging out with Harry before they're friends. She works there as like a horse person, right? She's working there. They hang out, they drink. They have a romp. She calls it a quickie, which I'm sure is very complimentary to Prince Harry. How many of you would love to have your first time, or even if you had a quick romp, advertised? So anyhow, it happens. She's minding her own business. She's a hardworking woman. She has 2 kids. I don't know if it's a ditch digger because we have different expressions over here, but she runs some equipment. She's a hardworking woman. She has no interest. She's not even a celebrity. She doesn't care. And Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, they decide, let's talk about the first time you had your, peachy bum out in the air. And, that happened. She's minding her own business. And then all of a sudden it's in the paper, in the book. Nobody tells her. Nobody asks permission. And from what I understand, knowing a little bit about entertainment, I'm not going to say that I'm an expert, but I have been in the business for a long time. If you don't use the name, that's fine, but then also try to cover up specific details. Like, don't really say things that all of your friends are going to go, oh, I know who that is. So what happened apparently was that she was just tired of all the speculation, and she says, all right, it's me, mother of 2, 40 years old. By the way, she's actually younger than Meghan. Like, let that soak in. She's younger than Meghan, and Harry calls her the older woman, and he was some kind of young stallion or whatever. So I just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about a couple of things that are in these articles. So let's talk about it. Okay, so was it Camilla? Come on, Louise. You guys, I know for a fact that I'm going to have to stay away from the comments. I'm just saying, behave yourselves. Okay, so I am going to read this article that was in Express UK. The no V vibes, because I don't know what I'm allowed to say on whatever thing, but I don't know why the V card would be a bad word. But anyhow, so this is how it goes. Prince Harry wrote in detail about how he lost his V card in this tell-all memoir, right? So he shocked us all, recalling that amazing night that he lost it, right? And then he said it was the first time with an older woman in a grassy field behind a busy pub. The Duke of Sussex gave no mention of who the woman was, but she has now come forward, and it's everybody's BFF, Sasha. Because I don't know about you, but like, again, respect for her for actually keeping her mouth quiet. She wasn't like somebody walking around advertising things for 21 years, because that's how long ago it was. She just wants to work. But she spoke out about her intimate encounter with Prince Harry in this joint interview that she had with the Sun and the Mail, because she feared her identity was going to be exposed anyhow. So, hey, why don't you get ahead of the news? So she sheds new light on the inglorious episode, in quotes, as Harry called it, how the Duke describes in his memoir, including how he opted for Dutch courage, where they were and how long it lasted. Harry was consoling her over her ex. Now, remember, she was 19. He was 16-ish, 17-ish. So he was just consoling her. So when Harry discovered that Ms. Walpole was upset over seeing her ex at the party, he stepped in to help lift her spirits. And then he did so by buying her an assortment of shots. She had 5 shots of something. He did 2. He also brought her a Miss Piggy toy. I don't know. When I was 16, I was so sensitive about things. I might have been insulted. So then they had their shots, and then it was, these are her words, passionate and sparky, but not premeditated. The mother of 2 says the S, the let's just call it the romp, was passionate and sparky, and noted that it wasn't planned. We didn't sit out for it, and it wasn't premeditated. They just went out for a little smoke. Let's go out for a smoke, and let's go behind this fence right now. And she says it's located 6 miles away from the High Grove estate, which was where everybody would hang out. She was working, she was working with the horses. And she goes, Harry had a lovely peachy home. So she did confirm patting him, and then she called him Peachy. And she went talking about the little peach. And then afterwards, I did grab his bum and gave him a slap. I just can't believe that every time I try to get away from this royal content, it's like the gift that keeps on giving. Y'all, when do you think this is going to end? She says, and I'm sure Harry's very proud of this, although in his defense, I will say that most people, I'm going to say with most men, the first time, she says it lasted about 5 minutes. And she said they slipped away from the party, and she said that they just jumped right back in, and she said there were no V vibes. There were no V vibes. None of that. So she had no clue that he was a V. And she remembers thinking maybe afterwards that he was one, but she didn't think about it during that time. And then afterwards, I'm just going to go to the next thing because it's probably like the same thing. Afterwards, he heads out into this red phone box to ensure that they were not seen together. She went back into the pub, and when she was in the pub, she's already back in the pub, probably having another drink or a smoke. It's a party. His security detail was looking for him and was worried about, and then he was found in a phone box down the road. Okay, so she was only 2-3 years older, depending on how you look at it. I don't know. Some people are saying 3, some are saying 2. So depending on if he's 16 or 17. But in his book, he was talking about the much older woman. And there you go. So she says she lost her belt. She lost her belt and had to go back to get the belt. She remembers wearing black trousers, a fitted black top, and black leather boots. She accessorized it with a multicolored belt. I don't know. The next day she passed by the pub on the way home, and she had to get her belt back in the grass. And then she never spoke to Harry again. Okay. I mean, they were friends. They were good friends, but let's never talk to each other again. Never talk to each other again after that. So what do y'all think? Does anybody have anything they want to add to this? No one. Okay. So regarding the book, She says, no one warned me about it being included in the book. And she said all these people were calling her going, oh my gosh, did you see that he's talking about it? Can you imagine just your friend group like knowing that as teenagers and going, I can't believe he said that. Like, what are you going to do? She's like, oh, I'm not going to say anything. And then all of a sudden people are talking. And then Rupert Everett, is that his name? Everett. He goes on and he's like, look, I know who it is. Everybody knows who it is. And all of his friends knew who it was. So then she said she panicked after it was included and even sought legal advice. Honestly, on a serious note, I don't blame her because, again, I'm getting serious here. Like, what was he thinking? Like, really, honestly, like, couldn't you just sort of breeze over it and not get into so many details? Because she probably never wanted to be outed. And at the same time, if you know you're going to be outed and you're going to be chased with the press because they're all going to ask you questions, just like Harry and Meghan are doing, you might as well come out and tell the story. So she probably thinks, I'll tell the story. I'm done. She doesn't understand why he went into such detail. He could have said he lost his V card and left it at that, but he described how it happened in a field behind a pub. No one warned me about the night being included in the book, and Harry or his people could have found me to tell me if they had wanted to do so. So with all of that being said, that is the story. And what do y'all think about it? Because here's the thing, like, it was an intimate, it was an intimate time. And they end up, he ends up like telling the entire world about it. So would that tick you off? Would that tick you guys off? It might me. So anyhow, this is the story with Sasha and Harry and the Peachy derriere. And I mean, I'm just at a loss. I don't even know what else to say anymore regarding this, but I wanted to just make sure that I talked about it because everybody's coming to me on it and they're saying, what the heck? Does this mean that, for those of you who thought the book may have had some credibility, do you think it's like, is it just some of us going, he totally lied? He didn't totally lie. He did say she was older, but the exaggeration seems so huge, So to me, it was such a big exaggeration. Did he have to talk about it? Did he have to include it? It's like he's this guy who was never allowed to talk, never complain, never explain. And the minute that he gets to talk, it's like, I'm going to say everything in my life. I have never been taught to have boundaries, so I'm going to say everything. So anyhow, that's where we're at. And that's all I wanted to say. So continue to watch me here on Hot for History. I am trying to get back to some other editing, and I keep getting distracted from, there's like a lull in the Harry and Meghan thing, and then it's like, bam, it's like another thing. So that's how I feel. So anyhow, please do subscribe to Hot for History, and we will be talking to you later. I kind of feel bad for the kiddos on that subject. Yes. Okay, I got to get going. I got to pick up my daughter from work. Talk to y'all later.